Excelsior, everyone. So, we've got a brand new box here. Very special box, actually. And this is the last box I ordered for the month, but it came so quickly, and I wanted to review it first because it's still available. So just in case someone likes the box, they can still go and order because it's still available to get for this month. And that box is the Stan Lee box. Now, Stan Lee's been showing up a lot in these boxes, this month specifically, which is kind of weird. I'm almost kind of worried about it. I feel like maybe Stan Lee found out he has like terminal cancer and only has a month to live, so he's trying to cram everything into 1 month. But he's in Nerdblock. Nerdblock has a special Stan Lee box that they're putting out this month, which I also got. And then the BAM box. They have a special Stan Lee box as well, on top of Stan Lee apparently having his own box. It's kind of odd that he would make all these partnerships with other boxes and then curate those boxes when he's trying to put out his own curated box. Seems kind of weird to do it all at once, but, you know, whatever. This box, however, is extremely expensive. This is the most expensive American box out there. So this one, after everything's said and done, shipping and taxes and everything, it comes out to almost $60 a box. It's a bi-monthly box, so it's only every other month, but still, that is a lot of money. They promised $125 per box, so they say that $50 box, $125 in value, which I don't quite believe, but I'll be the judge of that because I'm pretty good at judging value, but we'll see if that's what it is, because if that's the case, we should be getting double our value. But I was skeptical on it, but they said they had exclusive things in there, and if I'm going to get something exclusive, I definitely want it from Marvel and Stan Lee, so that could be very interesting. But we'll see about that. And they also have a deal if you buy the whole year, pay for the year in advance, you get a special statue, which I really wanted to do because they had really awesome statues. They had the Deadpool and Thanos statues, the Scotty Young statues, which I really liked and I really wanted that, but for $60 a box to pay for a whole year in advance was just way too much money. I really wanted those statues, but I couldn't do it because it ends up being almost $400, and I just can't do that. So, but the good news is, if this box is really awesome, possibly I can go back later on and buy a whole year and still get that, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm rambling. So this is a pretty big box, and it's very heavy too. So we'll see what we got in here. I have pretty much zero expectations for this. I have no idea what to expect. They did show off one item, but we'll see. So this looks like, yep, that's all the information with everything in there. Nice little packet. So this is the first thing they showed that was guaranteed in the box. And it looks like they gave both versions. And what it is Champions. And we actually just got this comic too in, what box did I just do? Oh, the Marvel Collector Corps, the X-Men one. We got a variant cover of Champions as well. I think that was number 1, and this looks like number 3. So there's the variant color edition, and then there's a variant black and white edition. So it's the same cover. One's black and white, one's in color. I think they're both, yeah, they're both exclusive to the box. I assumed we would only get one, but I guess they gave both. I hope that's not just for me, but I can only assume at this point. So yeah, got sticky shit everywhere. So that's really cool. The Champions is a new series that Marvel's trying to push a lot, and this is part of the new Marvel. And this is all the younger versions of all the Marvel characters. So it's the new version of Hulk that I think it's like an Asian dude, and then Miles Morales is Spider-Man. It's all the next generation of mutants and things like that. So that's what they're trying to push. And I'm sure these characters, or at least some of them, will show up in like Marvel vs. Capcom since they're trying to promote it. But anyway, cool covers. I like that they gave both variants of that. This is the only item they showed off though. So that's exclusive. They said that they were going to put that in the box, so that's cool. I'm good with that. Alright, next. Looks like we got a Rock Candy figure. They put rubber cement on everything, though. They got to be careful with this stuff. I don't know why. I guess they did that so things wouldn't rattle around the box, which is good, keeps it in good shape. They just got to be careful, because if this touches the wrong part of the box, it's going to ruin it. This stuff is very powerful, so they got to be careful. Alright, so it looks like we got Captain Marvel, Rock Candy. And there's that. So this is cool, and as far as I can tell, this doesn't look exclusive in any way. I don't see that. It looks just like a normal figure, but that's fine. I was just saying for the Marvel Collector Corps, I actually really like the Rock Candy figures. I think they do a very good job on them, and I know they're not as popular as like the Pop figures, but I think they're getting there. I think people are liking them more and more. I think this is better for female characters, because when you do a Pop figure, they just don't look very feminine most of the time, so I think these are better off. So I like that. So I'm good with that. Next, looks like we got a Q-Fig, more rubber cement, which I'm always happy to see Q-Figs. This is probably one of my favorite things to get in a box. I like Q-Figs way more than pop figures. I think these are so much better. And then we got Civil Wars, Captain America. I think the detail on these is way better in every way. And it's not just the figure, it also comes with like a base and a stand and everything like that. So it's always like a little scene going on. And the detail on them is always really great. This one doesn't look exclusive either, but I haven't seen this one. Civil War came out almost a year ago now. And, is my camera focusing? Civil War came out almost a year ago, and I have not seen this one, but to be quite honest, you don't really see Q figures out and about that much. You see them in boxes, but they're normally exclusive, but I honestly don't know of really any stores that carry them. I haven't seen them in Hot Topic, I haven't seen them in Toys R Us, or Target, or Walmart. The only place I've seen it is Comics and Stuff, which is a local comic shop around here. That's the only place I've seen it, and they have a very limited supply of those. So I'm not sure where they're supplying Q-Figs to, but they really should do more because they're not that popular yet. People that have gotten them have liked them, but they haven't really blown up yet, and I think that's just due to marketing. But I think once they get out there, I think people are really going to love these. Because I love them. I think they do a great job, and I think other people will like them as well. But they're just not in that many markets. I think just the box market and some comic shops that buy them secondhand. But as soon as they get into like maybe Hot Topic and get some exclusives or something like that, I think they're really going to blow up and be very, very popular. So I'm happy with that. Even though it's not exclusive, I haven't seen it before, and I don't have it. So that's good for me. Alright, moving on. Oh, it's still so heavy. Got some hay in there. Bunch of hay in the box. That works. Stan Lee. Love me some hay. Alrighty. This looks like we got a little card. And this is a Stan Lee fun fact. The principle of hammer propulsion. There's that. And it has a little description on the back. Let's see what it says. Principle of hammer propulsion. What makes Superman fly? How is it that he can just get into a pose and take off with no visible means of propulsion? No engine, no jet, nothing. Now when Thor wants to fly, he wraps his leather thong of his hammer around his wrist, swings the hammer around like a propeller, then lets go of it. The hammer goes flying off into space, and thanks to the leather thong that he goes with it. We call it the scientific principle of hammer propulsion. Okay. So I don't know if this is part of a card series or if this is going to be exclusive to the box. It says fun fact number 22. So I'm guessing it's part of some kind of series, but that may also be exclusive. We'll have to look it up and find out about that. But I guess it's just fun facts from Stan Lee. And that's interesting because this seems like things that he came up with long ago, back when he first started with Marvel. And it's things that he thought about were to make characters make more sense. Because he's right. Back in the day when people made Superman, nothing made sense about it. Like, most things don't make sense in science fiction anyway, but they try to make it as realistic as possible. And I think that's what made Marvel good. That's what made Marvel interesting. That's why more people relate to Marvel. Because it was real people that had, like, mutant powers. It was, Spider-Man was like a teenager in high school, and there was all relatable things that made more sense to real life, more so than Superman did. So I like that they thought about that stuff, because it really made Marvel what it is today. So that is really an interesting fact. Alright, moving on. Looks like we got the Superior Spider-Man in a graphic novel. So that's cool. I like that they do that because most boxes put in comics, and whether they're exclusive or not, it's hard to read them because it's just the one issue. And it's hard to get into it if you're only reading one. So it's good that they do graphic novels because then that gets you involved in that series and makes you want to read more. I don't think this is exclusive at all either. Just looks like a normal graphic novel, but it seemed like a good series, so I'll check that out now that I have the graphic novel. Alright, moving on. Looks like we got a hardcover book. Amazing, Fantastic, Incredible. Stan Lee. So this is possibly a biography? Let's see. As Marvel just celebrated its 75th anniversary, I thought maybe it was time for a look at my life in one form that has never been seen, as a comic book, or if you prefer, a graphic memoir. It strikes me as horrendous oversight that I haven't done it before. If I didn't know everything about my life already, I'd envy your voyage of discovery. Okay, so this basically is a biography, just put in comic book form. You can see it right here. That's really cool. That's actually a very good idea, because I like biographies, but to to be quite honest, like most people, I don't like reading. I don't really like reading a whole shitload. So that's really nice that they put it in comic book form. And there's the actual hardcover. It's got a bunch of mutant heads on there. That's really cool. So yeah, I'm actually pretty curious about Stan Lee's life. So I'll definitely give that a read. Seems like a very interesting dude. Very nice. And that'll be an easy read because it's mostly pictures. So that works for me. Stay. Come on. That's not going to stay. Alright. Moving on. I think we got one more item in here. Yep. And this looks like an art print covered in hay. And it's just a little print of Stan Lee's head. So it kind of looks like he signed it, but I'm not sure if Stan Lee actually signed that or if that's just part of the print. I'll have to look that up and see, or get a better look at it. This looks like the Rob Pryor prints that we always got from, I think it was Comic-Con box that had a partnership with Rob Pryor, if I'm not mistaken. But he's done a lot of art prints that have shown up in boxes. That looks like his artwork, but I'll have to double check and take a look at that. So, Stan Lee's face, there we go. Alright, well, that was all the items in the box. So, we'll take a short break. Then we'll get to the exciting part. Talk about some value of this box. See if this box is actually worth it. And give this box a rating. See you soon. Alright, we are back. Let's talk about some value on this box. Grab my knife so I can point to things. First, the comics. No surprise that these are being sold online as a pair. They obviously came together. I doubt anyone would buy them separately. So as a pair, they're going for about $20, which is decent. That's a good amount if you think like $10 a piece. Because it's a number 3, it's not a number 1. And the covers aren't that far off from each other. One's just black and white, and one's in color. It's still a cool comic, but seeing as how it's not a number 1, Champions isn't that popular yet. They're really trying to promote it. It's getting there. It's getting popular. But they're trying to promote it a lot, so it probably will get more popular. And I'm assuming, like I said, the inclusion of some of these characters in games like Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that, and possibly in movies, is going to increase popularity. But as of right now, it's only going for $20 for the pair. So, next, the Q-Fig. This is an exclusive, but it's still a really cool figure. Ironically, the fact that it's not exclusive actually increases the value. So you'll notice that pretty much all the Q-Figs that we've gotten in boxes, I think they've all been from Loot Crate, by the way, they've all been exclusive. But the ironic part about it is that Loot Crate puts out so many boxes every month that even though it's exclusive, it actually devalues it because they put out over 500,000 boxes every month. So there's 500,000 of that figure and a bunch of people that don't want it, so they flood the market, so they end up being really cheap. But the normal price of these Q-Figs is $20. When they first came out, that's what they were at. Most people probably don't know that because you can go online and buy all the exclusive Loot Crate ones for less than $10. The prices have dropped so much because there are just so many of them out there. They're just in landfills. So the regular ones are actually worth more, and the price of those is $20, and that's pretty much what it's going for. Now keep in mind, much like any box that I review early on, the prices will drop, but it's kind of ironic because since they aren't exclusive, they should hold steady pretty well. So the fact that I'm putting this video out and a lot of people are going to see it and buy the box, for every one person that buys the box, it devalues these things a little bit. Not much though, because like I said, this has been at that price for a while, and I can't imagine a ton of people were getting the first box, because that's usually not how it works, so it should be okay, but the more people that get the box, the more these prices will drop. And I hope that they get more exclusive stuff. It's kind of weird that they would do a first box and not have only have like one exclusive thing, but I'm sure they're trying to gain momentum and stuff like that. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Next, the Rock Candy figure. This is going for about $10 to $12, and I think that's normal price. I've only ever seen them at Hot Topic, and I think Hot Topic has them for like $16, but theirs are always marked up. So I think like 10 or 12 is the normal price. I'm not totally sure on that because I haven't seen them in a regular store anywhere. I haven't seen them in like Target or anything. So I'll have to double check that. I'm not totally sure, but I think that should be roughly the normal price. Because I don't think they would charge $15 for that because they're not that fantastic. And if pop figures are going for like 8 or 9, so I think 10 to 12 is normal price. But that's just an assumption. So 10 to 12 on that. Next, our graphic novel, The Superior Spider-Man. So here's where it gets tricky, and here's where the values are going to be very skewed. Like I've mentioned before, with all books, it's very hard to value them. The price on the back is technically what it's worth, because if you were going to go to a store and buy it, you would have to buy it at that price. This price on this book is $17.99, $18. So if you went to a comic store, that's what you'd have to pay. And technically this arrived new, so technically it should be that price. But that's not how it is. If you go online, you can buy this all day for less than $10. And whether it's new or not, it's hard to say, because someone can easily read this, not put any damage to the book, and resell it as new, and no one would be any wiser. They're tricking people, but does it really matter if it arrives in the same condition they got it in? Who really cares? It doesn't really make much of a difference. And to be quite honest, this didn't arrive in perfect condition anyway, so there's going to be a huge range on this, and the value is going to be 10 on the low end and 18 on the high end. So $10 is what you can buy it for online all day without a problem, but technically the price on there is 18, so it's going to put a big gap between the final value. But it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. Next, our little information card. This I'm valuing at about $5 or $6. I couldn't figure out if this is going to be part of a series or not. I'm sure it is, and maybe, ow, bit my tongue. Maybe someone in the comments will know that if there is an existing series. It does say Stan Lee on the box. It has the logo on the back, so I'm assuming exclusive. But the information on here, it didn't give much information in this little pamphlet, which I'm kind of disappointed about. Let's see. Experience number 22. Yeah, so maybe this one is, because everyone got the same one from what I saw. It's fact number 22, so maybe this one's exclusive. So only time will tell, and I'll have to do some more research and try and figure that out. But I'm putting a value about $5 or $6 on that because I think it's cool. And they did put it in a nice little like card holder thing, so I think it has some value there. All right, next, our book, our Stan Lee biography comic book. Same situation with the graphic novel, same exact scenario. So the price on the book is $30, which is pretty high actually, but not that high considering it's a hardcover book and it has nice graphics on it. But again, go online and you can find it for less than $10 all day long, because hardcover book, people can read this back and forth all they want and put no damage to it because it's hardcover. And again, same thing, this didn't arrive in perfect condition anyway. The jacket on the book is bent up and creased all over the place from jumbling around in the box. So this didn't arrive in perfect condition as it is, and I could find one in better condition for less than $10. So the range on this, low end $10, high end $30. So it kind of depends on how you would value that. And the last one is the print. So unfortunately, I was right that this is Rob Pryor, by the way. I was correct on that. Also, I was correct, this is not his signature, which is kind of a dick move in my opinion, because it looks like his signature, and now you get excited for a second, but then you look at it and realize, oh, that's not a real signature. And I could tell, I pulled it out and looked at it, and you can tell that it's the same texture as the print, so it's pretty obvious that it is. And on top of that, when you look on the information card in here, and the signature that's shown in the example, it's exactly the same. It's in the exact same spot. It's the exact same. And I know signatures should be the same, but not that much the same. There's no way Stan Lee signs his name that perfect every single time. It's just not possible. So, unfortunately, since this isn't signed and it isn't numbered, there pretty much has no value. Because the sad part about it is, I can take this, and it's not copywritten anywhere. I can take this to Kinko's, make a print of this, I can make 2,000 of them, and sell them myself. There's nothing to stop me from doing that. There's no law that I would be breaking because there's no copyright anywhere on there. So that's what devalues these things. That's why they need to sign and number them. So I'm going to put a value of a low end of $5 on this because that's what it would cost to print that. But I'm actually going to give it a $5 to $10 value because some people would like this, but again, I don't think this is exclusive either. There was no information on it. It didn't say if it was exclusive, so I can only assume that it's not, which is weird that they're putting this in more than one place, so I'm assuming this is going to show up somewhere else. So I'll have to see if my nerd block has this. If it does, I'm going to be really pissed off because they're kind of screwing people by putting it in more than one place. But we'll see when the other boxes show up if this shows up anywhere else. So unfortunately, this gets very little value because there's no value to it, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. You hope when you order a Stan Lee box you get something signed by him, because I've always wanted something signed by Stan Lee. And not something I purchased and you hope is real, something that is genuine, comes with a COA, but still no such luck. And the band box is doing one, but you have to pay $150 for it, and it's like, that's a little too much in my opinion. So I really want one, but so far we haven't got it. So, on to the final value. First of all, not $125, nowhere near it. So I was right about that. On the low end, the value is at $80. On the high end, it's at 116. But keep in mind that 116 value is valuing the book and the graphic novel at full market value. So even though you can buy them both for under 10 bucks, that's you taking a personal opinion on it and valuing it $30 and $18, which I definitely would not do. So it's kind of up to you whether you value it at the full price that's printed on there because it is new, or whether you don't care and would just buy it online. That's kind of up to you. Me personally, I would value it more realistically on the low end. I would put the value right at $80 because the only difference between them was just market value versus resale value, and I always go on resale value because that's technically what it's worth. You can put a sticker with a price on anything you want. Doesn't mean it's worth that. This figure could have a sticker that said it's worth $1 million on there. Doesn't mean it's worth $1 million. It's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. It's only worth what me or you, whoever the consumer is willing to pay for it. That's how business works. It's not me making that opinion. So I would value this at $80. But even valuing at the full prices of these books at $116, it's still not $125. It's still not what they promised. And that's exactly what I figured. As soon as I saw that, I said, bullshit. There's no way this is a $125 box for 50 bucks. First of all, it wasn't 50, it's actually $60, so that was a lie. And then the whole $125 thing, not even close. Even with the full value not there, realistic value nowhere near that. So in reality, with an $80 value, you're getting 30% more than you paid for, which isn't horrible. It's not a terrible value, but it's not great either, considering it's such an expensive box. This is a $60 box. This is the most expensive box in America right now. Even Loot Crate DX is only $55, and this is a few dollars more than that, so it's very pricey. So I'm kind of glad I didn't get the whole year in advance because I kind of figured something like this would happen. But on the bright side, being hopeful and being the optimist that I am, I'm hoping it will get better because this first box, I'm assuming, didn't sell well because they actually contacted me via email. How they got my email, I have no idea, but I was getting spammed every day by this Stan Lee thing, and I just didn't pay attention to them until last week I opened one because I thought it was the Nerd Block thing that they were promoting, but it wasn't. So I opened it and realized, oh, Stan Lee has his own box. That's so weird. So I ordered it and it arrived 2 days later. So that's what it is. I don't know how they got my information or my email, but I paid the full price for it. Anyway, I forgot the point I was making with that. So yeah. This was just a very expensive box. It's too much money to risk every month. That's the same problem I have with Loot Crate DX. It's not that they don't give the value, it's just too much to spend. Even though it's bi-monthly, that's a lot of money to spend to only get a little bit more with it. Having said that, oh, I remember what I was going to go with. Being hopeful about this box that I'm assuming not a lot of people ordered this box because they were spamming my email so much. If it was selling really well, they wouldn't need to do that. They wouldn't need to constantly do that. So I'm assuming, 1, nobody knew about this box. 2, even people that didn't order it because it was too risky spending that much money. So the first box, I'm sure they didn't have that much funds. If it picks up, I'm sure they will get more exclusive stuff. If this box gets popular and they sell out, I'm positive they will get exclusive figures, exclusive comics, exclusive books, because obviously this is about Stan Lee. The first box is all stuff about him, but they can't do that every month. So I'm sure if it does gain popularity, it will get better. So I am going to stick with it for at least a little bit. If a few months go by and they're not getting any more popular, they're not getting any more exclusives and stuff like that, I'll have to cancel. Having said all that, I still liked the box though. I genuinely liked everything in here. The comics were cool. I love the figures. I love the characters. I love the books. There was nothing in here I didn't like. I genuinely liked everything in here. The value's just not there. So I'm still happy with it. I got more than I paid for, and I'm going to keep everything in here, which is good, which is rare for a box. So that's what's bringing me to keep with it, and hopefully they'll get some exclusives in there. But yeah, the value's just not there. So after that extremely long rant, the box rating is going to get a 6 out of 10. Good box. I think most people will like it. I think they'll enjoy everything in here. But to spend $60 and only get $80 back is pretty rough. So luckily that hopefully you do like everything in there, because if you didn't like one of the items, then you may barely get what you paid for. Or if you didn't like a few items, you may be getting less than you paid for, which is unacceptable, and that's a no-go. So let me know what you guys thought about it. Whether you value the books at the full market price or the resale price, what you thought about the value, what you thought about the items, are you interested in it? I think they gave me a referral code. I'll have to double check. But if they did, use my referral code so I don't have to pay as much, so I can keep getting this box, so I can keep doing this. this videos. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about it. I know this is a really long video, but it always is for the first box. Anyway, this has been the Stanley box. Let's talk about it in the comments and see whether this box should stay around or not. It's bi-monthly, so we won't see it again for 2 months. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Peace.